Hey there, cookie friends. You've been la-boo-booed. Hi, I'm Leslie with Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and if you love decorating sugar cookies or you want to learn how, you're in the right place. Let's decorate together. So I'm sure you've heard of that game where you go to people's houses and you leave a bunch of Halloween treats on the door with a sign that says you've been booed. Well, I couldn't resist jumping on the la-boo-boo trend. I love myself a play on words, and that's exactly what this is, and these cookies are adorable. So I got these cookie cutters from the Cookie Mercantile. I'll leave a link in the description. And I'm just going to show you how I decorated these. So I started by scratching out a little oval in the center of the cookie here, and I'm just going to fill that in with some tan icing and then use my scribe to settle it down. My icing is about a 15-second consistency. And then I'm going to let that oval dry while I move on up to the ears. So I'm going to use a really light pink royal icing for the center of the ears. And I'll just pipe that out in a nice thick line, use my scribe to settle it down so I don't get any air bubbles or craters in that line later, and then we'll let that dry as well. And one last area I'm going to pipe before setting the cookie aside to dry for about 15 minutes are the hands. I'm just going to outline both of those and then let them in and use my scribe to settle it down. Then I set my cookie aside to dry for about 15 minutes. And now I'm just going to come in and outline that center part of the ear with the tan icing again. I'll use my scribe to settle it down and pop any air bubbles, and then we'll let it dry again for another 10 to 15 minutes. And I have to admit to you that I don't even really know what a la-boo-boo is, but I love a play on words, and I think these are super cute cookies. So are these just cute stuffed animals? Is this a TV show? Where did they come from? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, back to the cookie. I outlined and flooded in the rest of the ears with a light pink color, and I'm just shaping it here with my scribe and getting it exactly where I need it to go. And then I let that dry again for another 15 minutes or so before coming back in now with my white royal icing. All my icings are in a 15-second consistency. And I'm just going to go ahead and flood in the rest of the ghost and then set it aside to dry completely once that's done. So because my icing is a 15-second consistency, I can outline and flood with the same icing, and I can go right up to the edge without worrying that it's going to overflow. And when you're using a thicker flood consistency icing like this, if you wiggle your piping bag as you're flooding, the icing will settle down much quicker. So I'll just finish smoothing it out with my scribe, and then I set it aside to dry completely. And then I grabbed my projector, and I'm going to use the image from the Cookie Mercantile to trace out the face on my cookie. And I'm just using white gel food color as my paint and an edible marker. And I made little marks where the mouth's going to go, but I'm going to let the teeth dry before I write in the mouth. So I'll just go ahead and pipe in the nose with my light pink icing. I'm going to try to pop all the air bubbles and set it aside. But it turns out I did get an air bubble, so I'm just going to scrape this off before it fully dries and pipe it one more time. That's the fastest way to fix a crater if your icing has not dried already. And once the icing fully dries, if you have a crater in your icing, I have a video tutorial on how to fix that, and I'll link that in the description. So once my nose is done, I'm going to take my black edible marker again, and now that the teeth are done and they're dry, I'm just going to draw in the mouth, and then these cookies are done, and you've been la-boo-booed, my friend. So join me in this virtual game of You've Been Booed, and share this video with a friend that you would like to boo. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this cookie decorating tutorial. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more. And for now, bye-bye.